Before you walk away, before you decide you're done, before you convince yourself that it's over, God needs you to hear this. Not tomorrow, not when you feel better, right now. Because you're standing at a breaking point, and breaking points are dangerous places. They're the places where people make permanent decisions based on temporary pain, where exhaustion convinces you that quitting is the same as wisdom, where the voice in your head says, just let it go, it's not worth it anymore. But what if that voice isn't yours? What if it's the voice of the enemy who knows exactly what you're about to become? What if he's panicking because you're closer than you've ever been? What if your breaking point is actually your breakthrough disguised as defeat? You've been fighting for so long, praying for so long, believing for so long, and nothing has changed. Or worse, things got harder. The very thing you asked God to remove is still there. The person you prayed would change hasn't. The door you thought would open slammed shut. And now you're wondering if God even hears you anymore. But here's what you can't see from where you're standing. God hasn't been silent. He's been strategic. He hasn't been absent. He's been building something in you that you couldn't have without this exact pressure. The delay isn't denial, it's development. You think you're stuck, but you're being planted. You think you're forgotten, but you're being prepared. You think this season is wasted, but God is using every single moment to position you for what's coming next. And if you quit now, you'll never see what all of this was for. Look at Joseph, sold by his brothers, falsely accused, thrown in prison for years. If anyone had a reason to give up on God, it was him. He didn't do anything wrong, and yet everything went wrong. And still, he stayed faithful. Not because he understood, but because he trusted that God's plan was bigger than his pain. And when Pharaoh finally called for him, Joseph didn't say, I gave up on this years ago. He stepped into the moment God had been preparing him for all along. The prison wasn't punishment, it was preparation. The pain wasn't pointless, it was positioning. And maybe that's you. Maybe you've been in your own prison. Maybe you've been crying out, God, when will this end? But what if the better question is, God, what are you building in me that I couldn't get any other way? Because giving up doesn't just end your pain, it ends your purpose. It closes the door on the very thing God has been preparing you to walk into. You don't quit right before the harvest. You don't stop digging right before you strike water. And you don't walk away right before God shows you why you had to endure. The enemy wants you to believe that nothing is happening, that your prayers are bouncing off the ceiling, that God moved on to someone more worthy, more faithful, more deserving. But that's a lie designed to steal what's already yours. God hasn't forgotten your name. He hasn't abandoned your situation. He hasn't moved on from the promise he gave you. He's just waiting for the right moment. Not the comfortable moment, not the moment that makes sense to you. The right moment. The moment when everything aligns and you see clearly that it was worth the wait. So before you give up, ask yourself this. What if you're one prayer away, one day away, one decision away from everything changing? What if the breakthrough you've been begging for is on the other side of you not quitting? You've come too far to stop now. You've survived too much to surrender here. You've prayed too long to let go right before the answer arrives. God didn't bring you this far to drop you. He brought you this far to promote you. So hold on, not because it's easy, but because what's coming is worth it. God isn't done with your story. He's just turning the page. And the next chapter, it's the one you've been praying for. Don't give up. Not now. Not when you're this close.